Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Dylan Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In this video, we're going to be reacting to the Ohio State versus Maryland football game. This game was not going the way I thought it was going to go in the first half, especially that first quarter. It was ugly. First half, we were able to be kind of feeling a little bit better because of a defensive pick six that took place. But ultimately, in the second half, Ohio State was able to kind of get their mojo going, their rhythm going. They had some second half adjustments, got the offense rolling, and we were able to come out with a victory. When you look at the score, 37-17, you would look at that and say, oh, Ohio State probably, they were playing around with them, then they ended up fixing themselves. No. They were struggling a lot in that first half. It seemed like in the second half, the defense was able to really step up. The defense played good, I would say, in the first half. They didn't play the best. The Maryland's offense, we knew coming into this game, they were going to be able to light the scoreboard up somewhat. But all in all, a victory is a victory. So without further ado, I'm going to give you guys my Ohio State fans' perspective and POV of how the game kind of went. Break down a couple points of kind of what went wrong, the offense, the defense, and we're going to kind of go into a question that is Ohio State really a tough team? We're going to get into everything, so if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you do drop a like. And without further ado, let's get into it. So really quickly, I want to kind of break down one thing that a lot of people are going to talk about. I want to go and point this out. Maryland is a good football team. It seems like with the media, a lot of people are trying to talk down on Ohio State because no matter how this game went, if we beat the shit out of Maryland like 55-10, everybody would have been saying, well, you beat Maryland. Congratulations. But what if we would have lost to Maryland? It would be like, holy shit, you just lost to Maryland. Ha ha ha. And sure, we beat Maryland, but it wasn't a convincing win, and everybody's still trying to hate on us saying, like, how did you even have to compete against Maryland? I'm saying this now. I thought last week when Maryland was 4-0, they should have been ranked. This week, they should have been 5. They were 5-0. They should have been ranked. Obviously, if they would have beaten Ohio State, they would have shot right up into maybe like 19, 18. But I thought even before, they should have been ranked. Even if it was like 25, 24, they should have had some ranking. They're undefeated 5-0. They have a chance to go 6-0. How are they not ranked? Hell, you got some SEC schools and even ACC schools that are like 3-2, barely 4-1, that are like up in the top 15. Like, what the hell? So I kind of just want to make my peace with that and say Maryland is a good football team. They have an electric offense. That defense can hang with about any team in the Big Ten. Will they be able to finish this record or finish the season at the worst 9-3? I think so, because I think they do play Penn State and Michigan as well on their schedule. So if those were their 3 losses, that kind of escalates them into, I would say, the second tier of the Big Ten. Obviously, tier 1 is Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan. Tier 2, that is Maryland's category. So before anybody kind of comes out of Ohio State trying to hate on them, saying, wow, you beat Maryland. Maryland's a good football team. Now let's kind of get into the Ohio State part of things. The offense. Ryan Day, what in the fuck was that play calling? I want to ask a question really quickly. Was that a designed fake punt on the very first drive of the game? Or was that just a bad snap? I've searched over Twitter. I tried to watch the press conferences. I don't know if Ryan Day, if that part was left out of the press conference or edited out, or maybe I was just blind or deaf, didn't hear him. But was that a called fake punt, or what the hell is going on there? Because it seemed to me, if that was a muffed punt or muffed like snap, why was it looking like it was almost directly snapped to the left? Somebody correct me in the comments on that one. But ultimately, when it comes to the offense, it seems like this offense was very stagnant in the first half. The throws Kyle McCord was making, he wasn't in rhythm with them. The throws, it seemed like they were kind of coming open, but they were really late opening throws. The run game could not get anything rolling. And it honestly seemed like we weren't really going deep a lot. It seemed like the past few years, we would take a lot of deep shots, obviously with C.J. Stroud, Dwayne Haskins, Justin Fields, a lot of big arms. Kyle McCord, I think he doesn't have the biggest arm. He's got a big arm, but he doesn't have the biggest arm. And I say that because even in the second half, it seemed like this offense, when Kyle McCord would try to go for those deep throws, there were 2 throws that he made. He took a deep shot to Marvin Harrison. It got caught, but Marvin Harrison had to, like, he was wide open, he's running, but then he had to kind of slow down, and then stop, and then just stand there and wait for the ball. That's not going to get you anything going. If Kyle could have put that ball at least another 10 yards out in front, Marvin would have run under it, and he would have taken it to the house. And I say that because I believe on that drive, we only came away with 3 points. We went from 7-3 because you have a weak arm. And then there was another situation where he had, I believe Julian Fleming, he kind of went on a deep corner route. He got open, but he ended up having to stop and kind of come back for the ball, and he ended up sliding, came out under his feet. He caught the ball, luckily, it was a great catch, but he got down at like the 2-yard line. I think we still scored a touchdown there. That was whenever Chip Trayanum took the end around, went for the touchdown up around the right corner. But still, sure, it came away with 6 still, but it was a costly throw that could have resulted in maybe only get 3 points. Now, like I said, the offense, they played not the best football in the first half. Second half, they cleaned things up. Second half, they were to come out there. Kyle started making some better throws. He was getting in rhythm, whether it was getting to Cade Stover or Julian Fleming. There was a few catches in there for Marvin Harrison where he got rolling. I believe he had like 9 catches, 160 yards. Correction, it was 8 catches, 163 yards for a touchdown. And the touchdown almost didn't count. It got called back for an illegal formation on the first catch that he made. And then it seemed like Ohio State and Ryan Day was just like, fuck that, we're getting you your touchdown. Now, I want to take a second and kind of talk about Kyle McCord for a second. Like I said, with the weak arm, he's kind of not really inaccurate, but he's not making his reads correctly. And one of the things that one of the commentators, Joel Klatt, I trust Joel Klatt with my life when it comes to football. He knows football, what he knows what he's talking about. The guy has said it many times with Kyle McCord when he calls his games. He doesn't process things well. Or it's more like he doesn't have the anticipation with when a receiver is going to be going into their break and they're going to be coming open. You need to rip it right there. You can't wait for them to come open and then throw it. Because it seems like there's a couple of throws where like it could be like a curl and a drag, or a drag and a curl, something like that, or maybe like a deep post and a curl and then like a drag going the other way. When that curl is going up, you need to recognize, okay, it's a 10-yard curl. He goes about 7, 8, 9 yards. When he's at that 9 yards and you see him just starting to turn, you need to throw it there. The receiver knows the ball could be coming to them, and they're going to be ready when they turn around to get their hands up. You can't wait for them to turn around, hands up, then throw it, because then you're letting the corner know. The corner's going to see the receiver turning around, their hands going up. They're going to go to jump on the ball. They're going to swat it down. Or whenever Marvin Harrison is going downfield, it seems like Kyle, I don't know if he's seeing it late, but he needs to know, hey, that throw could be there. And when Marvin is running and that safety is like, he's left in the dust, you need to throw it. You can't wait for Marvin to get deeper, then throw it. Like, you need to get him the ball. Now, ultimately, I think Kyle will obviously clean these things up. One of the things with Kyle McCord is, this game, it was not exactly the best game out of him when I watched him with my eyes. But when you go back and look at the film, he actually played pretty well. Next thing I kind of want to get into with the offense, this team is not tough. I know we just talked about Ohio State being tough about 2 weeks ago when we played Notre Dame. Ryan Day going out there, going after Lou Holtz. Don't get me wrong, I love that about Ryan Day when he did that. That was a fire we were waiting on to see out of Ryan Day. But when you go out there and you say, this team's tough, we are tough, and then you go out there today and you put up, I think, 60 yards total rushing. I'll put the stat up on screen. 61 yards out of Trip Trainum, 23 yards out of Mayan Williams, only the one rushing touchdown. And the fact that the longest run we got all day was Mayan Williams for 11 yards, and that was him having to bully his way through the offensive alignment and just going and powering his way up into the line of scrimmage all the way for a first down. It seemed like when our running backs were just kind of slowly, just kind of running, taking their time through, our offensive line couldn't get a hole. Now, here's one thing I will say. Trey Henderson did not play. If he played, he would have been able to make the shifty move, kind of move around, get around the line of scrimmage, get around the offensive line, make his own holes, obviously. But with him not being there, that did have a setback on the running game. But when it comes to Ohio State being tough, they're not tough. If I had to give them a toughness scale, 1 to 10, they're like a 4 right now. Best way you can prove that you're a tough team, win the line of scrimmage. Ohio State did not win that line of scrimmage when it came to their offensive line. Were they able to pass block a little bit? Yeah. They allowed about 3 sacks. Nothing crazy. But ultimately, when it comes to being a tough team, and they're going to need to be tough when it comes to playing teams like Penn State and the Michigan, teams that can run the fuck out of the ball, and teams that are going to impose their will. Michigan loves to run the ball. Penn State loves to run the ball. Michigan has a great defensive line. Penn State has a great defensive line. If we don't reinforce these line of scrimmages, we're fucked. And this will be a good segue into defense that I want to kind of discuss real quick. The defense played great, but getting back to the point of being a tough team, yes, we have great defensive linemen like JTT. We have Jack Sawyer. We have, I believe, Michael Hall. He's going to be a top 15 pick in the NFL draft next year. But even with all those stars, they make their moments, they make good plays, but at times it's like we're letting big gash runs, whether it be 5 yards, 6 yards, 7 runs, over and over and over again. And we're just not going to win that way. And I understand the whole mantra of bend but don't break defense. I hate bending. And I realize so many people out there are probably saying they want the Georgia defense that we've seen the past 2 seasons. It just seems like those defenses, those are just 1 in a million chances that you get. And Georgia was lucky enough to have those players. So let's kind of move on to our defense. The defense is playing at a good level, I would say, so far. Through 5 games, they only have about 7 sacks. Not the greatest. Like I said, tough. They're not tough. They got about 5 interceptions, so that's pretty good as well. But like I said a second ago, bend but don't break. They're allowing these kind of, not giant plays, because that's the one good thing they are fixing that they have had a problem with the past 2 years. They've, the last few years, let up big plays. 40, 50, 60 yard, whether it be a run or a pass. Now, they've fixed that. They said this entire season, they've only allowed, I think, 1 play or even no plays of 40 yards or more. Which is a good thing because the past few seasons, that's what's been bashing our defense. We allow these big plays and then they just go down and score so easily. When we make a team have to methodically move the ball down the field, it tires our defense out, yes, but it makes the team have to earn their touchdown, and sometimes we can hold them 3 points. So overall, when it comes to this game, first half, not the greatest. Second half, they played good. It seems like when it comes to Ohio State's defense, they don't know how to make the adjustments right away. First half, they're going to struggle, but by the second half, they kind of fix the things and they can get the rhythm going. Because at times, we'll see in the first half, JTT tries to go get some quick sacks. Michael Hall, he's getting the pressure. But then at other times, you'll see Jack Sawyer trying to be the star. He's trying to make the pressure. And JTT and Jack Sawyer, maybe one's supposed to go for a quarterback, one's supposed to go for a running back, and they're going for the same player, and then the other one can just run free. And one of the big things that's hurting Ohio State a lot of times is those read options, especially whenever it could be a handoff to the running back, quarterback can run, or the quarterback can pass, and a lot of times those pass plays are hurting us. Now, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to really hurt the Ohio State defense in the long run, but as long as they clean it up. Going forward, I'm going to wrap it up with this. Kyle McCord. He is the biggest question mark along with the offensive line. The defense, I realize they let some big plays up at times, but they're good. Receivers are good. Running backs are good enough. The offensive line and the quarterback are the big problems. The quarterback is showing that he can play, but the offensive line is they're not showing me anything. It's almost like I need them to go up against a team in the Big Ten that has the worst running rush defense, and I need to see how Ohio State does. I need to see Ohio State go out there and put up 200 yards rushing against a bad team just to even feel like, okay, maybe they can do something. Because I'm telling you now, if we go up against Penn State or Michigan and we cannot run the ball, Kyle McCord is going to be eaten alive. But overall, I'll say this. It was a great win. We needed this kind of win. It shows that we can kind of, when it comes to good teams, especially a Maryland team, like I said in the beginning, 5-0, we can go out there and we can still handle our business. Going forward, I believe they play Purdue next week. They're on the road. We know what happened the last time we played Purdue at Purdue. Not the prettiest game. I believe we lost that game like 20-48, 20-55. It was not a great game. But going into this game, I think we can win this game. I think Purdue only has like 1 win, 2 wins so far in the season. So we should be able to take care of our business here. If I had to make an early game prediction, I'm going to say 44. I'll say 41-14. But other than that, that's all I got to discuss for today's video. That's been my full kind of breakdown, react to the entire game. If you had a different opinion on anything what happened in this game, if you're an Ohio State fan and you had a different opinion on kind of the entirety of the game, maybe the way the game went, the flow, the offense, defense, whatever you want to talk about, and you want to drop your opinion down in the comment section down below, feel free to do so. If you wanted to watch the entirety of today's video and you are a fan of the content that I am posting here, maybe you enjoyed today's video and you want to go and drop a big like, that'd be very much appreciated. And like I said, if you're a fan of the content that I am posting here and you're an Ohio State fan, Cleveland sports fan, any fans of those types of sports, or maybe you just enjoy sports in general, I talk all the different types of sports here, and you want to go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so, and don't forget to hit that little notification bell to be notified the second I post. But without further ado, this has been Don Talk Sports. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.